Okay, so I've been playing with this Treesitter stuff a little bit. I just wanted to show you where I've got to because I think it's pretty cool. So I've got a whole bunch of non-LSP based. Well, I've got two non-LSP based parsing tricks, developer tools things. So let me show you with some C that I've been working on. So I'm going to have to turn the mode on, and of course you could do this automatically, but there we go. Right, so I've got a function here at the top, HTTP pass header. If I go down here, it automatically gives me a bunch of identifiers that are in scope. Of course I could switch to a completion thing here, but I don't actually want to complete them. I just want them to be able to go in completely whole, as it were. So Control C1 will insert identifier, Control C3 will insert HTTP slice buffer, and you can see that those are in scope because they're from the function parameter list starting at line 19. But what about if we move further down in the file? At line 32 you can see there's an inner scope created by the if, and there are two further variables there, init slice and source. So let's go down here. Okay, so now we can see that control 1 is going to give me source and control 2 is going to give me init slice. Okay, so they're further down in the file, so they're in scope, right? Okay, let's come down to the else, and you can see that those two identifiers at line 30 and 31 are no longer in scope because they were in a block and we're not in that block anymore. So it's smart enough to be able to do this all the way down inside deep nested scopes. It looks at subsequent scopes going up the tree. So I'm not sure it'll be perfect, but it seems pretty good, and it's making sense. And of course the reason it can do this is because it's got the syntax tree that the compiler will have. Obviously it's not the same one, but the Treesitter stuff, the reason Treesitter is so clever is because it works with the editor as opposed to being designed for compilation. So anyway, that's one thing that we've got. And the other thing that I've got is a kind of LDoc thing. If I come here, I can see, oh, slice is defined, and you might think, well, that's not very cool, but slice is not a built-in function. It's not part of libc or anything like that. It's just from that import on line 4. So what my Treesitter stuff is doing is detecting local imports like slicemem.h, that's why it's in the double quotes, and then parsing those for extern references for functions, and then making that available if you hover over. But it doesn't just do that, it also passes the file as well. So you can see that this function on line 19 is called HTTP pass header. Well, there's some tests of this function down here. There's some tests of this function down here. I don't know why my voice went so high. So this is one of those tests, and if we can see there's a whole bunch of variables being produced here, because this has got quite a lot of just Boolean assignments for testing purposes. But if we go to HTTP pass header, oh look, we can also see the definition of HTTP pass header. So that's pretty neat, isn't it? So I've been mucking around with this. I should be writing this C code, but in fact I'm in some Emacs Lisp, so that's always the right thing to do, isn't it? Stop what you're doing and what's that called? Procrastinating. That's right. I almost procrastinated about procrastination. So it feels like you could do a lot more. This is a structure, so perhaps you could show the members of the structure. That would be quite useful, and it feels like that's totally doable. And you can see it's pretty fast. I think that's pretty quick. And what you have to know is that if you change the buffer, it's doing it again. It's parsing again. So let's change it and go here. Look at that, it's so fast. I mean, this isn't a very big buffer. But I reckon that the C mode font lock is slower than this Treesitter stuff. So anyway, there you go. I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm not using an LSP or any of those things. I'm just using Treesitter and font lock, and I think I might do a lot more with it. I might try and publish this because I've noticed that lots of people aren't really using Treesitter stuff, and it might be useful. On the other hand, my user experience is sort of terrible. I'm not sure anyone's going to like this menu that I've got along the bottom. But hey ho, there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching if you did, and happy hacking.